After doing my last video about the Melbourne Cup, which you can see here, I've decided to do another video focusing on all the arguments from people defending the Melbourne Cup and horse abuse. I mean, the horse racing industry. When doing my research for this video, I didn't have to look any further than the YouTube comedian Avi. It's a video Avi made back in 2019 about the Melbourne Cup. It was also the same year that Avi was charged for assaulting his ex-wife. This guy plays this really funny character that goes to protests and debates with people with misinformation. Anyway, the video he did about Nups to the Cup starts with the very first thing he says being wrong. Let's have a look.
So we're here in Flemington Racecourse for Melbourne Cup Day. Guess what? When Aussies celebrate something, our tradition, somebody's got to hate it.
Tradition! This isn't a valid argument for doing something immoral. We can just simply look at the definition of the word and find out why it's not justified. Tradition is a custom or belief that is passed down through the generations, or that is done time after time or year after year. Avi saying, when Aussies celebrate something, our tradition, someone's gonna have something against it, isn't a valid argument for horse racing. Let me give you a small made-up example. Every year, on this one day of the year, I like to just walk down the street and punch someone in the face without them starting a fight with me or anything. My family has been doing this for generations. It's our tradition. Year after year, on this one day of the year, we just walk down the street and punch a random stranger in the face. Is punching someone in the face as a tradition with someone who didn't start a fight acceptable? No, of course not. Is abusing animals as a tradition then acceptable? No. To further clarify this, I'm going to show you some scenes that I actually cut from my previous video. If you're still asking if horse racing is all that bad, then ask yourself if you would support any other form of animal exploitation. How about the use of wild animals in the circus? Don't worry, that only ended in Australia this year. A Stardust circus couldn't get insurance for their 6 lions and 4 monkeys. What about underground dogfighting? Surely people who bet on horses would also bet on dogfighting. The only real difference is the animal. There's way more known injuries and deaths in the horse racing industry. Find a huge stadium and get dressed up in a fancy outfit and it's practically the same thing. Don't worry, I hear what you're saying. Dogfighting is illegal in this country. But like horse racing, it's a long-standing English tradition, dating all the way back to medieval England. If we can excuse horse racing for being a tradition, then surely we can legalize dogfighting again. Here's a fun hypothetical for everyone. Imagine if in a game of AFL, when a player hurts their leg, medics run out, putting up a green curtain in the middle of the field and euthanize the player. Players would be completely gone from the sport. AFL teams would be releasing statements exactly like the Melbourne Cup deaths. It is with sadness that we confirm that Dustin Martin had to be humanely euthanized after sustaining a fractured fetlock during the grand final at the MCG. Surely you can see the cognitive dissonance. If this happened in real life, people would be going ballistic. Families would be pleading to end the sport immediately. I know there's some people saying, but the horses need to be put down. Not all horses are treated badly. I look after my horses and greyhounds. Well, the problem is that no horses and greyhounds should be mistreated in the industry and die, because no animals should be forced into an industry of exploitation. Profiting off the backs of non-human animals will always be animal cruelty, no matter what the industry says. It would be the exact same problem if it were humans being exploited, mistreated, abused in an industry as the facade of sport. Oh wait. There was once that industry. Roman gladiators back in 400 AD. The majority of the gladiators were slaves and would have to fight for our entertainment. Almost exactly like horse racing, except these animals race till the death for our entertainment. Think of the gladiator slave Maximus from the film Gladiator, or the slave Korg. Now simply put horses in there instead.
And the slaves have armed themselves.
Oh, I don't like that word.
Sorry, the prisoners with jobs have armed themselves.
Okay, that's better, that's better.
Just like hunting, horse racing will never be a sport. In sport, everyone knowingly decides to be a participant, also fully accepting the rules and regulations of the activity. If they really want to continue, then like dogfighting, they should be doing it illegally in warehouses. Just to be clear, I'm not comparing horses to humans. I'm just simply comparing the situations. If we were doing what we do to racehorses and greyhounds to humans, then it wouldn't be acceptable. And that's the way we should look at it. Go watch the Netflix series Squid Game. That's what we do to racehorses.
There's about 70,000 horses now in the industry. What's going to happen to them? Question is, what are they going to do with the 70,000?
Well, they'll go to sanctuaries.
70,000 horses?
Well,
They're going to be slaughtered.
Not knowing what to do with all the racehorses when the industry closes doesn't justify the industry being open. Also, where are you getting your facts from? See what I mean? This guy's hilarious. He just rocks up with misinformation. He just made up this grand assumption of what could happen in the future to justify what's happening right now. I bet you there was most certainly another Avi in America back in 1865 who said such things like, if we free all the 300,000 plus slaves, what are we going to do with them? I'll tell you exactly what'll happen. They'll go straight to their deaths. So we may as well leave slavery open. Avi's assumption of all these horses going straight to the slaughterhouse is already happening anyway. Let's just do some simple maths for the year 2019 when they sent 10,000 horses to slaughter. In 7 years, we've already got 70,000 horses being slaughtered. Once again, you can look at underground dogfighting. When police arrest someone for being involved in dogfighting, they take those dogs, they get them help, and then they find them a home. They aren't sent to the slaughterhouse. If we can do it for dogs, then we can do it for horses as well. The fact of the matter is, as much as animal abusers are going to continue defending the industry, it's eventually going to close down anyway. It's been proven that every year the industry is losing money, as fewer and fewer people want to support it. On the topic of this industry closing, let me just add this argument I heard the other day. What about all the jobs and all the people that rely on them? Families and communities have been relying on those jobs for years. Well, the government will help them get new jobs. After all, the government has been supporting this industry. Although that argument still doesn't justify an industry of animal abuse. There's a lot of people who've been working in underground dogfighting for many years, and underground dogfighting would have been supporting families and communities. You can't make it illegal. People rely on the dogfighting industry.
70,000 are alive now being treated pretty like royalty.
Not really.
What kind of royalty is treated like a racehorse? Show me where in history people bet money on the royals running around a racetrack to see who would come first without dying. The king or the queen? Oh, actually, at the Melbourne Cup protest this year, Avi actually showed us what he means by treating a horse like royalty.
Giddy up. Have you ever been to the stables where they raise these horses?
No.
I'll tell you right now, you should go and check it out, because if they treat humans that way, I would love to be your horse. Giddy up.
These innocent sentient beings are being bred into an industry where over 149 of them died. What part of that makes you want to be a racehorse? Does anything sensible come out of your mouth? Treating a horse very well is letting them freely run around a paddock, feeding them, nurturing them, caring for them, cleaning up their shit. That's treating a horse very well, not the horse shit coming out of your mouth. Anyone owning horses in the horse racing industry is by definition committing animal abuse.
You'll be kept as healthy as a horse.
So, how's that leg doing?
Great, never better.
Good. Why don't you try putting some weight on it?
Sure. Yes. Oh, that's good. That feels good. Very strong.
Sorry, Thunder. I gotta put you down.
Forcing animals that don't want to partake in horse racing. They don't want to be raced. They don't want to be pushed to their limits. They don't.
How do you know? Have you spoken to the horse?
How's your leg, huh? How's your leg? You ready to race? Huh?
Avi. You don't need to be freaking Dr. Dolittle to know that horses don't want to be treated like a product for profit in a gambling industry. You can just look at them dealing with stress and depression while being locked up in a stable. They're social creatures that want to hang out with other horses in wide open spaces. I guess Avi must also defend dogs that have been rescued by RSPCA because, you know, how do you know that dog hasn't had any food or water? Can you speak to dogs?
My cat wants to always go outside. And for its own protection, I don't let it do what it wants.
Oh my God, guys, this is it. Avi's finally figuring it out for himself. He's making the connection with his cat.
It's not giving me its consent to hold it in the house.
He's going to work out how human consent works with other animals. This is it. The cogs are turning.
Does that make me evil? Is it just because it's going against the animal's will
Oh my God.
that it makes it bad?
And a wrench has just been caught in the cogs and Avi doesn't get it. Here, Avi, I'll spell it out to you. You ready? Here we go. Avi's cat wants to go outside, But Avi is denying the cat's choice to go outside. He's denying its consent. He is doing that because the cat could get hit by a car, attacked by dogs, or destroy the wildlife. Avi is denying the cat's choice to go outside in the cat's best interest, for its safety and protection. The horse's best interest is to be in a paddock, roaming free. The horse racing industry isn't in the horse's best interest. It isn't for their safety and protection. We are doing the complete opposite for horses and greyhounds than what we do for cats and other dogs.
It's a good thing you're a dog, isn't it? Yes. It's a good thing you're a dog. I care about your safety and protection. Yes. If you're a horse, I'd be betting on your life.
That's the answer to any troll, like Avi and all his troll minion friends, who can't even get the information with their own lame-ass jokes right.
Well, I asked a simple question to the guys. I said, is it just horse racing that they're... Because Lindsay Lohan was riding a zebra in racing stripes. No one batted an eyelid for the zebra.
The film is fiction, it's not based in reality.
Well, I'm a racehorse. I'm training to be in the big race.
And it's also starring Hayden Panettiere, not Lindsay Lohan. Nice failed attempt at that joke.
Where we will disagree is I think that there is humane ways to do all these things.
What if we get rid of the whip? What if we get rid of the jiggers? What if we get rid of the tongue ties? Is there a way to make horse racing humane? Once again, let's look up the definition of humane. Having or showing compassion or benevolence. You can't show a horse compassion and benevolence by forcing it into an industry that goes against its safety and protection. To round this video up, Avi wasn't even trying to understand the other side of these arguments. We actually had the pleasure of meeting Avi at the most recent Nut to the Cup protest. And he basically just outright admitted that he only trolls these protests for entertainment.
Okay,
What is
I've
it,
got a
me?
question for you.
Yeah, go on.
So you kept saying like, oh no, I'm just trolling. Why? Why the trolling?
It's entertaining.
Not only that, but he didn't come to the protest to talk about animal abuse. He came to make it political.
Being able to protest.
They're not here for Andy
He was. Oh no, I get they're not here for that.
You know.
But I think it's a perfect opportunity to ask him about it.
As I said to him on camera and in the rest of the interview that he didn't show, caring about animals has got nothing to do with politics. You can vote for anyone and still hate horse racing. I wasn't going to include this, but Squid Game is another brilliant example of why the horse racing industry needs to end. I'm not giving away any big spoilers, but in the first episode, one of the characters is betting on horse racing at the TAB. And later in that episode, that very character is in a game where people can bet on his life. So the very juxtaposition is why we shouldn't be supporting horse racing. In fact, some activists stood out of the front of Melbourne Cup dressed as the iconic Squid Game costumes, showing that very parallel for everyone to make the connection. Thanks for going beyond your thoughts in all the arguments people have for defending horse racing. Comment below with anything I've missed, or tell me your thoughts on these arguments. Like this video to help it out in the YouTube algorithm, subscribe to the channel to help it grow, and make sure you hit that bell notification to be notified of all my next videos, which I promise the next one is going to be very juicy.